Oh my goodness. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Allbrands Show. I am Barbara Chatelaine, and I'm so excited that you're here with us today in the new studio. Hello. And we only have one camera working right now. So I'm so super excited. And yes, so you're here tuning in to the allbrands.com show. Welcome. And oh, hi, Sandy. Good to see you. Let us know where you're watching from, what you've been working on, and how's the weather, because, oh my goodness, the weather is the weather. So we have and I'll just, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. This product that we are showing today has changed my life. It really has. And I had no idea that I would love an iron as much as I just continue to learn more and more about it in dealer trainings. And we just had one recently with Mike Venditti. Yes, that right. That sounds so cool, from Laurastar. And it's he's going to be showing us how steam is made and features of the model that I have and love. And guess what? That's not all. Watching today, you are eligible to win, at the end of this video, a $100 allbrands.com gift card. Isn't that exciting? So yeah, to be eligible to win that, like, comment, and share this post. We're on YouTube. Please subscribe to us by clicking the bell. So without further ado, oh, and I have one more giveaway. I almost forgot. We are going to, for people that join our allbrands.com SO forum community tonight, or right now, or anytime from now until tomorrow morning, if you are on Facebook, please visit allbrands.com SO forum community. Join our community. And just by doing that, you'll be eligible to win a $25 Allbrands gift card. And I will pick 3 lucky winners that I'll announce tomorrow morning on the SO forum page. So good luck there. So let's see who else is joining. Oh, Barbara, I just saw you in Floriani. You are just everywhere today. And Julie, good to see you too. Oh my gosh, Paula loves her Laurastar lift. It is. I tell you, I had no idea. An iron is just as important as a sewing machine. And we'll let Mike tell us why. Lori, hey, I saw you at Floriani too. Oh my goodness. It's so good to see everyone. So I will be moderating, so if you have any questions along the way, please ask. And this is just going to be a fun learning experience with Mike Venditti, the original Iron Man National Sales Manager of Laurastar in the United States. Hey, Mike.
Hey, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm excellent. And you?
I'm doing fine. Great. Thank you.
We have so many people saying hi. Or goofing off at work. They're saying, oh my goodness, tisk, tisk. Well, I guess we are too, huh?
That's
goofing
right.
off at work.
Right.
Yeah. So how did, like, tell us a little bit about the Laurastar company. Like, when were they founded, and what other, do they just make? They just make irons,
Right.
and they do it so well.
Yep. So to answer your question, again, good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for taking the time to listen. The company per se of Laurastar is 40 years old. It's a privately held, family-held Swiss company. Okay, all of the products that they make and manufacture and sell, they do themselves. Nothing is sourced out to a third world nation or anything, or country kind of thing. Everything's done in Europe, which means they have total control in terms of the quality, the performance, the longevity, and so forth of what we're about to show you. And again, these are designed to last many, many years, 10 plus years, in fact, of everything that we sell. So again, and it's got that Swiss mentality, that Swiss expertise, if you will. So again, what I'll show you here in the next few minutes or so is to give you an idea what they are, briefly how they work. But again, these are high-end products that, like Barbara had mentioned, really will change your life, especially if you're a sewer, a quilter, or just a flat-out person who enjoys ironing, because they're that different. And again, I'll go through the differences of what you may be used to versus what you're looking at, because it's a night and day scenario. Okay? Barbara? Okay. So anyways, so let's get started. Okay. So Laurastar essentially manufactures only irons. Okay. That's all they do. That's why they're so good at it. But there's two variations of the irons. One, of course, is one we include the system, what we call the system, which includes a board. Okay. The second version, which I'll show you in a second, we call it the lift, or it's a portable version of this. It's just a portable steam iron. Okay. They both work the same as far as the steam and what they do and the performance and the effect it has on fabric. So always keep that in mind. Okay. So system with the table, lift, L-I-F-T, is portable. So when I'm talking that terminology, you'll understand the differences between the two. Okay, so first and foremost, I wanted to explain to you one of the key reasons why is Laurastar so different than any other iron, again, you may be used to, and you all have your own experience with irons, right? Most likely you've probably maybe threw water inadvertently onto it. It may have spitted, you may have burned the fabric, you may have burned your finger, all sorts of things that unfortunately you're used to and confined to, because that's the nature of most irons that are available to people in the United States. Laurastar is quite different, and I'll start with the quality of the steam, and that's one of the key differences of why Laurastar is so different than everybody else. So here's our steam. Okay, that steam, by the way, is 300 degrees Fahrenheit. It's physically the same temperature as the iron you guys are using at home, right? Now, if you did this with your iron at home, which I suggest you don't do, but most likely you're going to burn the skin off of your hand, okay? Theirs is 300 degrees, ours is 300 degrees. Again, how come ours is different? Because ours is in the form of, basically the water that comes out of your iron at home is in the form of large water droplets, which means it's wet, it's heavy with moisture kind of thing, and it's extremely hot. With Laurastar, those water droplets get ground up in the system and the lift, and what comes out is the 300 degree steam, but it's a gas-like state of steam. It's extremely dry, okay? It has enough moisture to penetrate the fabric, loosen the fabric up, and get the job done, okay? So the end result is you're going to get the job done much quicker. Okay, so, and I'll be showing you the steam throughout the presentation, but just so you basically understand the difference of why I'm able to do what I'm doing with the steam. So at least now you've got a little bit better understanding of the steam. Also, the steam will kill all types of viruses and germs and bacteria and fungi. Okay, it will also kill the Corona-19 virus, 99.9% of it. Okay, now that's a pretty bold statement. You just can't casually say that and walk away. Okay, well, the only iron in the world that is certified to do that. So, in fact, if you had your face mask, all we would ask you to do is press and hold that steam on the face mask 6 inches away for 5 full seconds. Once you've done that, guess what? Your mask is now completely sanitized. Okay, so that's another positive byproduct, if you will, in terms of what this does and what the steam does. Okay, so what I'd like to do is, again, start with the system. We call this the Smart system. Okay, we've got a couple different versions of this, but I'm going to show you this one. But all three of those three versions of the system conceptually all work the same. They all have a board and so on and so forth. Okay, so having said that, this one has, for example, yes.
I'm here. Oh my gosh. So did you say that this ironing board, iron kills the coronavirus?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. That's amazing, especially in these days, unfortunately, to be able to sanitize.
You know, we had a third party independent company non-biased, of course. And that's what they come up.
Yes.
So, and
I
again,
actually have the doctor's signature, and that is available on the Laurastar
yes.
Website. If anyone wants to see that, it was tested in a lab. Let me just go through some questions while I'm up here, and then I'll let you get back to it.
Sure.
Here's one from Paula. She said, never had an iron that presses a quilt so flat. The steam does a wonderful job. Oh, this isn't a question. This is just praise for Laurastar. Blocking your quilt, and actually took the wave out of my applique quilt border. Yes, Paula. I've had the same experience, and I find that my quilt is much better. So, yeah. Okay, so I'll turn it back to Mike.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you, Paula. And by the way, to add to that, the reason why it took those creases out and so forth so quickly is, again, that steam. Remember, I talked about the gas-like state? That steam was powerful enough and moist enough to simply penetrate the fabric, disappear, and allow it to be to give you the beautiful end result. Okay, which you cannot do with a traditional iron. Okay, so again, another fact to tie in with what she had mentioned regarding the quality of the steam. So again, let's get back to the first category, if you will, of the products that we manufacture and sell. And by the way, I've been with Laurastar for 15 years. Okay, my background has been in the consumer product industry for longer than I'd like to say. So I've been in the industry, consumer product industry, for many, many years, but with specifically Laurastar for 15. So just want to let you know some of my brief background. Okay, so all of our irons, including the system and the portable unit, okay, we have two buttons. Okay, and these two buttons are to be pressed for steam for a left-handed person or a right-handed person. Okay, I happen to be left-handed. A traditional iron for me is very tough to use because it's designed for a right-handed person. Well, because we've got the steam button on both, with all the systems and all the lift products, okay, it's the same. You now have the ability to left or right-handed, so it's going to make your ironing experience much easier and much quicker. So again, whenever you want steam, this is what you're going to do. You're going to press one of these two buttons. Okay. Secondly, as far as the system is concerned, I don't know if you can hear on your part, but when I move the iron, there's a noise that takes place. Okay. And what's happening is when I move this iron, there's a fan right here. Okay. And again, you probably can't see it from your angle, but there's a fan built into the board. And when you move the iron, it engages the fan, or it asks the fan to move. So the fan will always be moving. It'll do one of two things, either pushing air up through the board or pulling air down through the board. Okay, one of the two. You don't have a choice of the fan not doing anything. Okay, when I show you the up and the down advantages, you'll know why. Because okay, but I just want to let you know how it works. Now, also, if you can see the bottom of the table here.
Mike, yes. I have a question.
Of course.
So we did get a question from Ann Philbeck. She says she has actually two questions, and I know that you're going to get to one of these soon. So it's I'm a long armor, and I deal with wavy borders. Does this iron help with that?
Could you repeat that question? I'm sorry.
I'm a long armor, so she has a long arm quilting machine.
Right.
And she has wavy borders on her, I guess, the edge of her quilt.
Right.
Is that what you're asking, Anne? Does this iron help with that? And I'll just answer that, yes. This iron is amazing for all quilt seams. I just can't imagine like a better iron than this Laurastar. But she asked another question that I think is really good, and I know that you're going to get to it. It's would we need to use pressing cloths such as silk, organza, or cotton? And I know that I see that iron shoe next to you, so I know that may be that you'll answer that in a minute.
Right.
Okay.
Yes. And two good questions. I'll show you physically to iron to tie in that answer to you versus verbalizing something, which is different than showing you. Secondly, because of the, she's referring to a thing called the Soleplate, which I'll show you how that works as well. Okay, and that's designed to take the face temperature of the iron from very hot to something very comfortable, so you can transition from one fabric to the other without having to find a towel or a press cloth, right? Things that you normally would be forced to use. You don't do any of that any longer with the Laurastar. And I'll get to that in about 2 or 3 minutes, okay? I won't forget your question, okay? So getting back to this, so now, okay, so now if you can look through the bottom of the table, if I'm moving this iron, okay, and again, if you can see from me, can you all see the board popping up? Can you see it from that angle?
Yes, that's,
okay.
Yeah, that's
So
the magic.
Right, so that fan is now pushing the air up. What I'm going to do is on this iron, there's a button. And guess what? There's a picture of an iron on the button. I press it, I move the iron, nothing's happening now, is it? Well, the fan is pulling the air through the table. If you look right here, but let down through the table and look at the stream of steam. Okay, can you see it from that angle?
Try it one more time.
No?
I think we'll have to use our imagination, but yes. So you told me earlier that it goes out the back.
Right, I threw steam through the table, and the fan, by pulling it down, is physically pulling the steam through the table, so I can visually see the steam come through the bottom of the table. So I just wanted to let you know how both works before I put a piece of fabric on it, because it'll help you connect the dots in terms of why it's different, okay? Also, I know unfortunately you can't see from your angle, but the flow of the steam goes through the table, and then immediately it goes out the back of the table by design. What if you're in a wheelchair, or what if you happen to like to sit when you iron? The last thing you want to worry about is burning your lap, correct? Well, we've thought about that too. It goes in and out the back of the iron, so you don't have to worry about that. Okay, so let's get back to how does the fan up and or down work, tying in with that 300-degree gas-like state steam. Okay, I've got, I think there's 12 cotton square blocks right here, right? Just stacked on top of each other. Okay, I'm going to wrinkle them. Okay, so now, right now, I've got the fan pulling down through the table. Okay, when I engage the iron, you can hear a noise. Okay, that's the fan pulling the air down. Okay, so I'm going to hit the steam button again. And that steam, by the way, because it comes out so powerfully by design, okay, it's designed to do that so you don't need any elbow grease, especially, God forbid, if you're arthritic or a bad knuckle or a bad elbow, or just simply if you do a lot of ironing, your arm gets tired. Guess what? That steam power, okay, is designed to get in and penetrate the fabric instantaneously. So again, another reason why you're going to cut your ironing time, we say at least in half. So let's get back to this, okay? I'm pressing the steam button. I'm just going over it this simple. On one side, okay, on both sides, okay? What I'll do is I'll peel back the top 12 layers. And guess what's on the bottom? Completely ironed properly and completely dry. Okay? You cannot do that with a traditional iron. Well, how come? First of all, you don't have the fan pulling down through, but that steam, remember I told you, it went in and dissipates, but it penetrates the fabric and leaves. Where a traditional iron, there's so much moisture and heat coming out of that iron, it goes and stays into the fabric, doesn't it? Okay, big difference. So that's why you're able to do that so quickly. Normally, I've been told that people will do something like this with their iron at home, one at a time. Okay, so guess what? We just took 13 of these and just did it quickly like that. Okay.
Hello, did y'all see that? So Paula says, I ironed 3 1-yard fabric cuts stacked for a total of 6 layers at once with my Laurastar lift, and they were perfect with 1 pass. Yes, it's amazing how the vacuum in the board which I may be able to get a close-up on that later on in the video. If y'all want to see that up close, just let me know. That you can iron through the batting, through the multiple layers of fabric if you're a seamstress, the batting if you're a quilter. It's just amazing how many layers you can go through.
Okay, good. And just again, so you understand the combination of the fan, but the combination of that steam that just penetrates that fabric, loosens that fabric up, and then leaves. Okay, and when that happens, what comes behind it is the heat of the iron. Okay, and that's what gives you the quick result. Okay, let me give you another example again of that fan down. Like Barbara had mentioned, here's batting. Okay, we all know it's kind of tough, especially when you first take it out of the package, right? Here I go. Okay, it's that quick and that simple. So again, to give you another angle, if you will, as far as the penetration of that steam and the fan down result. Okay, so that's the fan down.
Mike, oh my
Yes.
gosh. So like, imagine how that cuts your time in half when you can fold the batting to iron it, or the fabric, instead of ironing every, just a single layer. That just saves so much time.
Right.
My goodness.
And collectively, we claim, which is true, again, all these little things I'm showing everyone collectively adds to the fact that by using the Laurastar minimally, it's going to cut your ironing time in half. Okay? Again, another bold statement. You just can't say something like that and not be able to defend it. Well, some of the things that I'm showing you are several points in terms of defending that point. Okay? And I'll show you some more as well. So again, here's the batting fan down, so you get a general idea how it works. Okay? What I want to show you next is just the flip side, the fan up, right? How does that work? Remember, press this button, move the iron, look at the board cover. It's popping up, isn't it? Okay, so now I know, and you will know at this point, that obviously the fan is pushing up. And that's, again, you change the direction simply by pressing that button. In this case, I'm going to use a piece of silk. Now, I know silk doesn't apply to every sewer, every quilter, every ironer, okay? I'll just take a quick detour on fabric-wise just to show you and really allow you to understand how different Laurastar is, right? We all know how sensitive silk is, okay? In many cases, I'll ask, I do a lot of these types of shows. When I ask the audience, what do you think about silk? It's mind-boggling how many times the response comes across as, well, my wife wore her silk blouse one time and it's still hanging in the closet, because they're afraid to get to it. They're afraid of what their iron would do to it. In many cases, many people are afraid to take it to the dry cleaner as well, because it may do bad things to it. Okay, so what I'm going to do in this case is, again, I move this. Now you can see the fabric popping up. Okay, well, between the board cover and this piece of fabric, there's a breeze taking place because that air is pushing up. Okay, so that's cool, but what's the functionality of it? Okay, before I touch this silk, okay, when that iron is pushing up, it's cooling the fabric. In fact, again, if you were here in person, you could feel it. This is actually cool because of that fan. Okay, remember I told you earlier, when fabric gets cooled down, it gives you the beautiful end result. Well, before that takes place, you got to loosen the fabric up, don't you? Well, that's where the heat and the steam come in. Remember the 300-degree gas-like steam. Okay, so here we go. I'm just going to literally hover over this piece of silk, right over it. Okay, the silk is completely ironed and completely dry. Okay, again, you cannot do that with a traditional iron. Also, I didn't have to reach for a block of some type to put on the fabric. I didn't have to worry about turning the temperature down in the yarn. I didn't have to worry about a lot of things. I just literally put that fan up and off I went. Okay, so again, when you're doing a lighter fabric in general terms until you get used to it, use the fan up. Now, is it the end of the world if you flip-flop them? Of course not. Okay, but if you want the best results for the most efficient part of your ironing, that's what you want to do. Also, I want to show you this, which is kind of a crowd pleaser. Okay, here's the arm of the silk. It's nice and wrinkled. Okay, and here's the armpit. So what I'm going to do, and hopefully, Barbara, you can see it from your angle, I'm going to shoot steam into the armpit. Here we go, 300-degree steam. That quick. It's done. Okay? Again, completely dry and completely ironed. So hopefully that I'm conveying to you how different that steam is and what the difference is. Yes.
Mike, that was amazing. You sound so nonchalant when you're demonstrating it. And it's just like, because you already know how great it is, but like for someone who has oh my gosh, a subpar iron, seeing that and the steam and everything, it's just phenomenal. And guys, mine that I use in my studio, yes, it does that. I have the step down from Mike's. Mike has the blackboard is the Smart U. But I have, and Kay England and all my friends who are quilters, we really like the Smart I. I just feel like it has everything that I need as a quilter.
And by the way, thank you for that, Barbara. I'll show you in a second here how the Smart I works. Okay, the buttons, what it does. Again, another advantage of how to make your experience much easier, much quicker, but more importantly, more enjoyable. Okay, so I've shown you the fan up, I've shown you the fan down. Okay, with the Laurastar comes a Soleplate. This also comes with the portable unit as well. Okay, this is a Teflon finish. Teflon finish, just like your frying pan in the morning, right? So what I'm going to do now is, bear with me here. I'm sorry. Okay. So I have a shirt here. Okay, that's got a bunch of plastic beads on it, if you can see from that angle. Okay, and also things that have been baked on or ironed onto this shirt. Now, if I had this laying on a board, I've asked this question probably 500 times over the course of 15 years, right? And most of the time, the response is, what would you do if you had to iron this with your iron? Most of the time, people start perspiring a little bit, right? Because they know what their iron is going to do. So what do they do with this fabric? Again, where's my towel? Where's a fabric? Where's a piece of cloth or something that's ½ an inch thick, right? Where's the temperature done on the iron? Okay, I fold this in half. I do all sorts of things, right? Because the face temperature of their iron is simply too hot. It'll do bad things. With the Laurastar, the face temperature of this iron is about 475 degrees. Okay, that will cause disaster on this particular shirt. With the Soleplate, okay, it simply clicks on like this. I'm going to press and hold the steam button. Okay, all I did, folks, was take this Soleplate, which was room temperature a second ago sitting on the board. Now I combine that with the steam of 300 degrees gas-like state. Now this face is about 180 degrees Fahrenheit. 475 to 180 in a course of what, 9 seconds? And guess what? 300 degrees steam, 180 degree face on this. Right over it. Okay, completely dry, wrinkle-free, no burn, no transfer, no melting.
Ah, hello, that's so good.
Yeah.
I love the iron shoe for this iron.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
We call it the Soleplate again. So, and it goes. So
oh, excuse me.
No. So the point here, of course, is you can transition from one fabric to the other saving a heck of a lot of time simply by putting this on. Now, when you're done doing a piece of fabric like this, and let's say you go from this to a heavy quilt, okay? Well, guess what? On the heavy quilt, you need that 475 degrees temperature, not the 180. So simply take it off when you're done. This also comes with a little hook, so you can hang it right here. Okay?
Mike, is that included with the iron?
Yes, that's included with the iron. It also comes with a filter, and I'm going to talk briefly in a second here about the filter, when to change it, why you need it, the advantages of it, et cetera, okay? Now,
before we transition to the water part, I have a question about the iron part from Debbie. She says she has a hard time getting the center fold of yardage to iron out. Does this iron get rid of the fold line? And Debbie, I feel your pain. Yes. So that is like the hardest, crispest line when you buy yardage of fabric. I don't know what they do to make it so hard of a line. But yes, I have gotten those fold lines out with my Laurastar Smart I iron with no problem. I do use starch, and I do use the vacuum down feature to make sure that I'm getting full use of the steam whenever I iron that pesky fold. So I hope that was helpful.
That's a great question. Yeah, go ahead. That's a great question. Okay. Now, again, hopefully what I'm showing you so far will hopefully give you the proper answer to that question. Remember, in that case, which is almost impossible to get that crease out, a lot of long arm quilters will only use Laurastar because it's the only iron that'll get those creases out before they start working on it. Okay, remember that steam coming out in a very powerful fashion, right? With the fan down, in your case, it's going right through the fabric. It's literally going right through the fabric. So that crease is nothing more than butter in an oven. Now, what I just said is quite different than what you're used to, correct? That's what I'm saying. Hopefully I'm explaining this properly to at least show you the differences. Okay, so anyways, also, as you can see, this iron has been on this board cover for most of the half hour so far. As you can see, again, it's not burning the board cover, is it? Well, this board cover that comes with the eye that we're offering today is a fire resistant board cover, which means you can take a 475 degree iron, put it on the board cover, and you don't have to worry about it burning or making a big imprint where you normally would with a traditional ironing board cover. So what's the advantage there? You're going to save money over time as far as replacing board covers.
So Mike, I can do that on my board because I've always been way too scared to try that.
It's right there.
So I know, but I keep it on the little tray to the side. But I never leave it on the board cover because I'm afraid to do that on my Smart I. So are you saying I can?
There you go. What are you looking at right now, right here?
Oh my goodness. I can't believe it.
Okay.
Oh, look, Barbara Jones popped in. I just want to say hey to her. She says, I have to say that I get excited about ironing now. It makes my projects look so much better. And I even enjoy ironing my husband's clothes. Barbara, I have had the same experience. I'm like, oh, this is such a joy. I had no clue it was going to be so great. But yes, sorry, I diverge.
No, that's okay. But that was a very good question, whoever asked that question. So what Barbara said, by the way, there's two ways you can put the yarn. And by the way, most people want to set an iron down like this, right? That's what you're used to. The Laurastar lays flat all the time. So in this case, you can leave it on the board, or there's a rubber mat right here. Okay? Gives you more space of the table left to right. But you have the option. Again, if you want to put it off the rubber mat on the board cover, that's okay. It won't hurt it. Also, if you can see from there, there's a bunch of straight lines on this board cover. This is called an origami board cover. Origami is the art of folding. right? So if you need a straight edge for something, the straight edge is sitting right in front of you. Use it. It actually comes with the board cover. Okay? So what I want to do is, this is a piece of cotton, okay? And what I want to show you is, if you can see from this, it's a pretty straight edge right now, okay? This side, okay? So when people do quilts, what they typically tell me is when they're done, the blocks aren't typically really square, right? Not as square as they'd like to have them, okay? So with Laurastar, let's say this is a perfectly square. With the steam and the power of the steam, that fan in this case coming down, I can actually manipulate the fabric. So remember, this is straight. I just showed you, right? Steam, fan down. Here we go. Okay. See the bellow now? Barbara, can you see it? Hello? Anyways, this is bellowed, right? I just manipulated the fabric. I went from straight to what most people say what their quilt block looks like. Not really straight. Okay? So let's assume this is your quilt block. Put it on the board. Here comes Laurastar. Right? Guess what? We just took that edge right back to where it should be, completely straight. So again, I wanted to show you the power of the steam, the dryness of it, the penetration of it, and what it does to the particles in the fabric to give you the end result very quickly. Okay?
Mike.
Also, yes.
Mike, that's awesome. Hey, I do have a funny comment from Four Oaks Living. She says, no more taking his white shirts in to be pressed. I feel like I've saved so much money not bringing my clothes to the dry cleaner because I was too afraid to iron it afterwards and not just refresh it with my ironing board. So yes, I feel like I've definitely saved money over time. Four Oaks Living. I know that's not your real name, but I thought that was such a good comment. And she also said, I would have a hard time getting to the iron first with my husband using it. He loves ironing. Well, aren't you lucky?
Okay. I've got very good, whoever shared that with us, by the way, thank you. Again, from a cost savings standpoint, totally removed from the functionality of this, right? Now, dry cleaning, people still take things to the dry cleaner, don't they, on a regular basis? And dry cleaning is not inexpensive. Okay, with Laurastar, here's a 100% wool sport coat. It's a 100% wool sport coat. I'm taking this right on the fabric. Okay, so now if this particular sport coat, like if I put this on, I sit in the front seat of my car, what happens right away? The bottom gets wrinkled, doesn't it? It's like you just wore it for 3 weeks. With Laurastar, with the steam, right on the fabric, right on it, okay? It's going to take all those wrinkles out, and also it's going to disinfect the fabric. Remember, I told you what it kills the Corona-19 virus and all the other things? Secondly, I live in North Carolina, where in the summertime it gets very hot and humid. So if I wear the sport coat for 2 or 3 times, what's going to happen? I'm going to have body odor right underneath the armpits, right? Guess what? That Laurastar steam will take the germs that are creating the odor out of the fabric. So guess what? I don't need to take it to the dry cleaner from that regard. Now, I don't want to deceive you. If you've got a spot on your sport coat, Laurastar will not take the spot out. So I don't want to mislead you in any way. But other than that, refresh, take the body out, body odor out, etc. You hang it back up in your closet and you're ready to use it again and again and again. Therefore, not taken to the dry cleaner. So that adds up after a while, especially if you're doing a lot of, taking a lot of things.
That's amazing. So that brings us to a good point. Birdie Kate says, I want a Laurastar, but I can't afford one. So Birdie, we have a very good secondary option that we're going to talk to you about in one moment, but I am going to bring up on the screen this Laurastar Smart I. So this is the white ironing board that I have. It has everything that you have seen shown today on Mike's Smart U, which is the step up from that. So with when you contact us and check out with your Bernina credit card, it's only $63 per month for 18 months. And you get free shipping on that. If it's outside of Louisiana or Texas, you don't pay sales tax when you check out online. So if that's something that makes it easier, I definitely suggest taking advantage of that financing, free shipping, ordering it on our website, allbrands.com. So I transition really quick. Mike, I have to show them. I'm going to zoom in on my board, and I'm going to come forward and show you. Let's see. Here it is. And I got to thank David, who's behind the scenes. Doing all the driving. So if you could bring me full screen, David. Okay, cool. Can y'all see me and hear me now? This is my board. This is the one that I use at home, and I love, 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 love. And I wanted to show you up close. Maybe you didn't see it on Mike's screen, but this is, and I have to apologize, it's dirty because I use it every day, really, for my quilting and for sewing garments. But if we can, is it possible to zoom in on this? This is the vacuum here. And y'all, now this board has a switch on it for quilters to where you can override the auto off on this machine. So unfortunately, I bought mine before that was available. So I still have to press the button. But there is a fan. I think I could tilt it forward. Here we go. Look at that fan inside. This is what pushes the air down, and I'm spilling water all over the floor. Sorry. This is what pushes the air down and pushes it up. Pulls down and pushes up to suck the steam through the board or push it up through. So yeah. Mike, I'm going to come back to you, and maybe you can demonstrate the other version. So this is the Laurastar Smart I vacuum board, Swiss engineered, absolutely amazing. But you have another option, a very affordable option called the Pinky Pop. Can you show us that?
Yes. And by the way, let me just add to what Barbara had mentioned. On this unit here, and on the portable units, she'd mentioned auto shut-off override. I need to explain that to you, okay? All of our systems and all of our lifts now have the ability, so what happens is if you don't use this within 10 minutes of non-use, it shuts off automatically. In 10 minutes of non-use with the lift, it shuts off automatically, okay? That could be a great safeguard, or it could be a royal pain in the you-know-what. So we've addressed that simply with the Smart I that Barbara has and the Smart U and all of the portable versions. They all work the same. Simply by, when you first turn the unit on, press and hold the on-off button for a full 10 seconds. 10 seconds. In the case of the system, you'll see a bunch of lights start blinking. When you see that, remove your finger. Now, in that case, this iron stays on until you turn it off again or unplug it, okay? You have the ability to do both. Keep that in mind. It's a big, big deal with these things, okay? So what Barbara had mentioned was, we call it the lift. Now, we make different colors, and there's 3 versions of this miniature one. This is, we call it the Lift Plus. But for the sake of time, it's kind of the middle of the row. We got 3 different price points. Some are different than others, very much like the Smart I and the Smart U concept, but they all work the same, okay? Now, if you remember what I mentioned down here, the filter on the systems, okay, when you first get it, these filters are navy blue in color. They're navy blue in color, real simple. Over the course of time, which we feel about 16 hours of use, it'll go from a completely navy blue to a completely color of yellow. completely. Now, if you see this and you've got 50-50, 50 blue and 50 yellow, guess what? You've still got life on the filter. The entire unit has to be yellow. So in approximately 16 hours of use, okay, that's what's going to happen. And that equates to anywhere from 6 to 9 months, maybe up to a year, depending on how many nutrients are coming out of your sink and how often you use the iron. One filter comes with it. When you go to replace the filter, 3 filters come in one box. Okay? With the portable unit, okay, this is the filter. Now we cannot see inside this, can we? Okay, guess what? Like I mentioned earlier, here's the on-off button. Okay, press and hold it for 10 seconds. A light blinks on the side. Remove your finger. You've overridden the auto shut off. Well, after about 16 hours of use, okay, the other side will start blinking and chirping. That lets you know that, hey, the filter's got to be replaced. That's how you can see. You can't see inside of it like this. So that's your way of saying, hey, let's replace it. And by the way, you'll have time to replace it. Once that light starts blinking, it doesn't, at the end of its life, in 5 minutes from now, you'll still have enough time to order it or whatever to get another one. Okay? But I need you to understand that the steam, the iron, the heat, okay, whether it's a system or whether it's a portable one, okay, they work exactly the same. It's the same steam, same heat, okay? Again, there's some different points, et cetera, but it's important that you understand that you're giving nothing up from one particular product to the other. They all work the same. And by the way, the average life on this and/or portable unit is 10 plus years. Okay. Now again, that's a bold statement to make. You got to defend that. Well, we have parts that are available for at least 10 years from the time you purchase these. So we're supporting it 10 years down the road. Okay. Now, question may be, well, I've had my iron, I've only paid a couple $100 for it, and I've had it for whatever. Okay. If you take that scenario and look at it, how much money have you spent the last 10, 12, 15 years on irons? Okay. That's only half the equation. The other half is, in those 10 or 12 or 15 years, did you get a beautiful and professional result? No, of course you didn't. You got the result of $100 or $200 iron, which you're used to. Okay, so anyways, I want you to always keep that in mind. So the nice thing about the lifts, the portable. Okay, this is the unit right here. Okay, you can put it on the ground, you can lift it, put it on the board. A lot of people will take these to a weekend sewing or quilting event. Again, it's portable, so you've got all sorts of flexibility. And having the 3 different versions, this is not the scenario to explain the differences, but Barbara can go on the website. They're pretty minute from one to the other, but collectively that's what makes them different, beside the physical color. Also comes with a rubber mat, right? So you can use this on any board you have at home. Here's the rubber mat, right? So the board cover you have at home most likely is not like this, which means you need this so you don't burn the board cover. That's why the rubber mat comes with it. Okay? Also, with this, the Soleplate comes with it. Okay? And again, one version of this portable cord holder comes with it. We have a version where the cord holder does not come with it. But again, not getting the specifics, there's 3 different versions, but again, they all work the same. But all 3 have the mat, the rubber mat, of course, the filter inside, and everything else is the same. Okay? And that's one of the things that we're having, that Allbrands is having as a special as well during this event.
Yes.
So,
Mike, I love the color. I am a fan of pink and any bright, fun colors to uplift my day, but it does come in a variety of different colors. They have white, black, red, blue, and then they have 3 different versions of this: the Lift Plus, and the Lift Extra. So we're featuring the Pinky Pot because we feel like this is a very good middle ground, great price points. Laurastar iron to get into. So this is what we are suggesting. And oh my goodness, it's only $649 from $800. Hello, no brainer, free shipping. You can finance that for 6 months. So that brings your payment down to $109 per month before sales tax, if that's applicable. And this is just a phenomenal iron. So if you're interested in purchasing this, please either call Allbrands, or in the description link of this video, we have linked this product so that you can do some more research on it. But please, please don't miss out on this great offer with the Laurastar Lift. If you're ready for the professional iron, then you can have that. So, oh my gosh, what an amazing deal, right?
Yep.
Oh, I have to say, Mike, we have a message from Paula, and it's, Laurastar is the first thing I turn on when I go into my sewing studio, and the last thing that I turn on at the end of the day. I love that there's an option to override the automatic shut-off. The iron is hot every time I want to press something. So yes, I agree, Paula. All of the new models have that auto override feature, which is essential for sewers and quilters and garment makers. When you're running your studio, the last thing you want is to have to wait for your iron to heat up. So yes, I agree with that. And along with the professional results of the Laurastar system, it's changed my life, Mike, I have to say.
Okay. If I may add to what Barbara just said, we always say it gives you the professional result. Okay. Again, that's a very bold statement. You just can't say that and walk away from the conversation. What makes this a professional system? You've all been to a dry cleaner, I'm assuming, over the course of your lifetime, waiting in line. You're in the back room, that steam going on and off. That technology, the uses of that, very expensive piece of machinery is the same with Laurastar. It's the same. That's why we can claim that it gives you professional results. Okay.
Yeah.
So again, I want to make sure you understand that not just lip service is something that we're saying, and we move on to something else. It's a very important point. Okay?
Yeah.
So,
I would never recommend any product on the Allbrands show that I don't personally endorse. And I use my Laurastar every day, Mike.
Yeah.
Like I said, it changed my life. Like I didn't realize that an ironing board is just as important as a sewing machine. I can't have a top of the line sewing machine and not have an iron that's comparable and expect to have professional results. It's just not doable.
Well, with Laurastar, until hopefully you get one, you're not quite sure what you're missing, right? You've never had this before. I'm showing you a demonstration. Barbara's talking about it. You may see it on the internet, but to see it in action, that's when you'll be convinced, and hopefully I've been able to convince you from a comfort zone level in terms of what it does. So again, it's quite different from what you're used to. Okay, that steam on my hand, which I first started out with, that's hopefully a good indication of how different this is than what you're used to. So hopefully that sparked your interest in all of these other things as well that, again, collectively make us quite different. So again, you're going to get longevity, you're going to get second to none performance, okay? And you're going to get professional results, whether it's your husband's shirt or your daughter's wedding gown that you need to press, okay, or refresh. Or you've got a quilt that's been your grandmother's quilt since 1932 sitting in a drawer. You pull it out, put it on here, put the fan down, the steam goes through that particular quilt, takes the wrinkle out, it's not going to hurt the fabric, okay? I go on and on and on and on. So, but these things collectively make us Laurastar.
I couldn't agree with you more. So we do have a question, Mike. Jen asks, Jen Friskia, I think I hope I pronounced that correctly, Jen. I noticed the Soleplates are different on some of the models. Can you go over that?
Yes, very good question. So what I'll do, these are two examples. Okay.
I have mine if you want to show, if you need to see the eye.
Well, let's do this. For the sake of that question, I'm going to show you two faces that we have. Barbara, cut to yours. Show them the third face.
Okay. So, sounds fun.
So if you could all put your mind in focus on, okay? So here we go. Here's two right here, okay? Okay. Go ahead, Barbara. You can cut to yours.
Hey, Mike. Okay, I'm getting ready to switch my camera over. This is mine. I use it. Okay. So it's going to be on the screen in just a moment. Yeah, here's me. This is the Smart I Soleplate, and I'm about to buy that Soleplate cleaning mat that I saw as a recommended accessory to help keep it clean. But I haven't. I've had my iron for 2 years now. I haven't cleaned it yet because it's just I use the Soleplate when I need to, and it just pops on so easily, just like this. And then if I put it on straight, there we go. So that's my Soleplate, and then here's me. So we'll cut back to you, Mike.
Okay, so let's answer the person's question. Okay, we've got three different versions, right? Well, for example, the one that Barbara showed you, right? It looked like a traditional iron face. In other words, it had holes in it, right? Like you may be used to using at home. Okay. Well, guess what? This one has a V to it, doesn't it? The little V. It's a metal V. But inside that V, by the way, are holes for steam. It's metal, aluminum. It's actually part of the face. Another version of this is this one. It's another V, right? V and a V, except this one is plastic versus metal. Okay? So my point in sharing the differences with you is when you see that V like this, okay, the V, what that's designed to do is when you put that onto a piece of fabric, it's designed to penetrate the fabric quicker, open up that fabric quicker to allow the heat to get in the fabric quicker and get the job done quicker. Okay, now is it 15 minutes versus 3 hours difference? Absolutely not. Okay, but there is a difference in time. And again, if you do a lot of ironing, that's another reason why, again, we can claim that you use you can cut your earning time in half. Now, also keep in mind, if the faces are different, right? All right. What is this? Oh, it's on. What did I do with it? Oh, here, I'm sorry. Right? So see this face, the way it's cut out? Okay? This face is for this iron. Okay? Because the holes match the holes on here. Okay? For this one, okay, the V, okay, the face plate reflects a V, so the Soleplate is attached to this one. Okay? So a different Soleplate for each one of the different irons that will match the face of the iron where the steam comes out. But in each case, again, they're Teflon. In each case, it takes it from 475 to 180, like I said. All of them is the same. Okay?
Cool. Hey, Mike. So you mentioned to me, because it's so funny, on some of the other brands, they'll be like, oh, well, we have 1 million holes in our Soleplate. Like, that's a great thing to have. But I feel like that, well, I know from your education, thank you, that the holes on the Laurastar Soleplate are prominently placed so that when you move the iron in a forward and backward motion on the iron, that it gives optimal steam. Can you explain that? I can't explain it as well as you explained it to us.
So with all of the Laurastar irons, here's two of them. Look at the top half of the iron, and then look at the bottom half of the iron. Okay? The top half, you see a V, don't you? The bottom half is solid metal. Solid metal. There's no holes in the bottom of the iron. Now, if I had a third iron here, which is the iron that you're most likely used to using, you're going to see those holes go from top all the way down to the bottom. Okay? So unfortunately, that's what you are used to using. That's your choice that you have. Now, having said that, remember I told you when steam and heat, when steam goes into a piece of fabric, it loosens the fabric up. Remember the 300-degree gets ground up, goes in and dissipates. Remember I said it the first 3 minutes of the presentation? Well, with this, the first half of the iron, the steam is going into the fabric, loosening the fabric up and dissipating. Guess what's happening in the second half of the iron right behind it? Heat, which is setting it. So you're loosening, and right behind it, you're giving it the end result. So in one clean motion, you can loosen and fix the fabric. Fixed means giving you the beautiful end result in one clean swipe. Versus holes from top to bottom. You're there all day long. Remember, what comes out of there, that steam is very hot and very wet, isn't it? Don't ever lose sight of that. So again, that's the difference with our iron faces versus the traditional iron. Also, the way these irons are designed is when you put this onto a piece of fabric, the entire iron goes evenly on the fabric. Traditional iron, if you could cut it to thirds, okay, the back third is nice and, so in other words, if I put a traditional iron on a shirt, the back third of that face of the iron is perfectly on that fabric. Well, guess what? How about the center part and the front third? Well, they kind of go up a little bit. Not intensely, but enough to see the difference, which means you got to put pressure on the traditional iron to have that completely hit the fabric. And there we go, putting elbow grease into it. Takes a lot more effort, takes a lot more time. Where Laurastar, boom, same, done. It's that simple. So keep that in mind, in addition to what I've shared with you as far as the steam, the on-off, the this, the that. The way these irons are designed is for that reason. Okay? This is supposedly shaped like a water droplet. Okay? So the bottom line is, the more efficient, you're going to get the job done quicker, and you're going to have a much more enjoyable time ironing. And that's one of the keys as well.
Yeah, so Melissa has one last question, and then we're going to transition to our $100 allbrands.com gift card giveaway. So Melissa's question is, would you repeat the reason to separate the Soleplate so it just lowers the temperature? Yeah, so Melissa, anytime you have a delicate fabric that you want to put steam on and not high temperature, like something that might melt or something like that, you would put your Soleplate on to keep that delicate fabric or material from scorching or burning. Is that correct, Mike?
Yeah, but let me show you. Showing is a lot more effective than telling, okay?
Okay, so, and then we'll do our giveaway. That's the last question.
Okay, I'm sorry. So, right, this is 475 degrees, right? It's really hot, isn't it? Okay, so I need the real hotness, if you will, okay, to penetrate this fabric. See how thick it is? I got 15 layers here, right? So I need the heat to go into this fabric, don't I? I need a 475 degree face temperature because it's so thick. Whether it's a quilt, whether it's blue jeans, whether it's 15 squares of cotton, okay? So far, so good. Thick, really hot, you need the face temperature. Well, what if I want to iron this to the silk? You think I'm going to put the 475 degree on the silk? Can't do it, can you? This is a lot more sensitive. So 475 is much too hot. That's where this baby comes in. So you take it from the 480, creating disaster, down to 180 degrees in the course of a few seconds.
Thank you, Mike. Oh my goodness. And thank you everyone for your amazing questions. And for all of us, I see notes of people that also love their Laurastar. So I'm going to bring up the slides on the screen again, because these are Barbara's picks. I have the Smart I, and if I didn't have the Smart I would definitely choose the Pinky Pop as my second choice. I just love pink, you know, and it's only $6.49. Don't miss your chance on that. And we're allbrands.com. The link to purchase that is in the description of this video. And then we'll show the Laurastar Smart I. This is the one that I have, I have, and it's only $17.99. You can finance that. It's free shipping. It's amazing, and it'll change your life. So if you have a sewing machine that's over $17.99, there's no reason why you shouldn't have a comparable iron to be right beside that to help you achieve success. So should we do a giveaway, Mike?
Sure, why not?
And you are so knowledgeable, the Iron Man. I just have to thank you for being on the show today. I just learned so much from you, and all of your industry knowledge, experience. And you've been with Laurastar for 15 years.
Right, correct.
Wow, wonderful. Well, thank you for sharing your knowledge with us. And we will definitely have Laurastar back on the show because I love it. So we'll pick a winner. And I have to also thank David, who is our backstage person in the room. He's been controlling the cameras and figuring out all the equipment here. So as we transition the Allbrands show to make it easier for people to see and hear and just better the experience so that we can hang out twice a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 3:30. So if you haven't yet, go ahead and get your comments in, like, share, and we're going to pick a random winner. So Dave, can you pick a random winner? I'm getting a head nod. He's being very meticulous. And I want to thank Laurastar and Bernina, who is now the distributor of Laurastar in the United States. Is that accurate? Or is it just Bernina dealers have that, Mike?
Repeat that, please.
Is Bernina the distributor? I know a lot of Bernina sewing machine dealers have the Laurastar iron.
Right.
Is it?
Bernina is the U.S. distributor of Laurastar. Yes.
So brought to you by Bernina. There's that. 2 Swiss family-owned businesses. Brought to you by Allbrands.com, a family-owned business. So everybody get your comments in. We want to see them in. Give us some fun emojis. And David, who do we have? Oh, Debbie. What is this iron called? Debbie, it's called the Laurastar, and it's awesome. And you just won a $100 Allbrands.com gift card that you can use towards the purchase of one. Either the Pinky Pop Plus or the Laurastar Smart I. Congratulations. That is awesome. And thank you, Mike, for being on the show. And thank you, everyone, for joining each week.
My pleasure.
No, my pleasure. Barbara Jones, we love you too. Debbie says that she's, Melissa, thank you so much. Y'all are so sweet. I love being here with you every week, twice a week. And I can't wait for more. So on Thursday, we'll be here with Marilyn Orentas, and we're going to be talking about the Bernina E16 60 needle embroidery machine. That's on Thursday at 3:30. So don't miss that. And thank you, Mike. Thank you, everyone, for watching.
Thank you.
We love you so much. And y'all, don't forget, follow us on allbrands.com Sew Forum community to have a chance, and that's on Facebook. So allbrands.com, so forum community, to be eligible to win a $25 allbrands.com gift card. So if you win, just email events@allbrands.com, your name and email address, and we'll send you that. So I can't remember the lady's name that won now. Was it Debbie? Yeah, Debbie. Okay. Debbie, congratulations. It's been a long day. And thank you, Mike. And we're going to be tuning out, and I hope to see you again soon on the show, Mike. And thank you so much for everything.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.